Introducing NASM One, NASM's ultimate membership program. Unlock access to everything your fitness career needs to succeed. Unlimited CEUs, free courses, access to our premium app, and exclusive discounts, all for $35 a month. NASM One is best-in-class tools, cutting-edge certifications, confidence in your craft, and everything you do as a personal trainer made easy, so we can achieve our greatest goals together as one.
You're listening to Random Fit with hosts Wendy Batts and Ken Miller, winner of a Gold Markham Award for Digital Media.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Random Fit with myself, Wendy Batts, and friend and co-host Ken Miller. Ken, how are things?
Things are well. Wendy, how are you?
Very, very well. Thank you.
There you go.
Today's topic, we're going to talk a lot about the new recovery tools that are out on the market. Again, I am going to start by saying we get nothing for this. However, these are some tools that Ken and I are now playing with, and a lot of our clients are asking, you know what, listen, I'm starting my exercise journey. I really want to make sure that I'm doing the right things on the recovery side of the game. And so I know when there's things out in the market, I want to know what they're like. How do you use them? Do they really work? And so we're going to talk about some of the newest things that we've been playing with and see if maybe we can enlighten some of you guys that might have the same questions.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I know that you get these questions because, you know, these different products come up on social media. And one of my goals as a fitness professional is to make sure that my clients make the best decisions possible when it comes to investing any, you know, whether it's $50 or $1,000, does a product work? Is it effective? Does it do what it says it's going to do? And, you know, one of the things they want to know is, you know, what experience do you have with these things? And fortunately enough, with everything we're going to be talking about today, we do have practical experience, and hopefully we could shed some light, not just on what it does, but how, when, and where these things are most appropriate when it comes to getting clients to be in their best shape. Because, you know, you're going to work out hard, and you mentioned recovery, Wendy. If you're going to work out hard, you're going to put your body through some stress. What are you doing to prepare your body for those bouts of exercise? And what are you going to do with your body between exercise sessions so that you're in the best possible shape when it comes to that next session? So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. Well, remember, one of the things that we always talk about, you're only as good on your next session as well as you recovered. And that, of course, does also include your sleep, nutrition. So these are just the tools that you can use. And, you know, the title for today is The New Year, New You, because this is going to be really important. There's a lot of things we talk about on how to better ourselves. And I got an unbelievable Christmas gift from someone that is on this podcast, my co-host. And that is also going to be something that we're going to talk about because I love it. But Ken, why don't we start with the Hyperice Venom Go? I know you have a lot of experience with this product. I am learning more and more about it. I don't personally own this one. So why don't you kick us off?
So Hyperice is one of our partners, and their product line is just absolutely amazing, top to bottom, because they address so many key points that the body needs for recovery. So the Venom Go, and I'm just going to go ahead and hold it up here. So I'm just showing you here with the base unit. This is basically what does the magic, and then you have the pad that is what connects to the body through this. So the Venom Go is basically your travel or your compact version of what they have through the shoulder venom or the low back venom, where it's more, I don't have one in front of me because it's being used right now by some other family member in my house, but it heats, vibrates, different patterns, different durations, but great for warming up on cold winter days. It's one of those things I have under my sweatshirt. But what this does is it allows you to get the benefits of heat and vibration. So this little guy here packs a pretty big punch, but it allows you to get that heat and vibration in areas that if I don't have the low back venom, if I don't have the shoulder venom, which again, I can put on my right or left shoulder, or my leg venom, which you can use across your thigh. This can be used in other hard to get areas, let's say like your calves, like your hamstrings, if you need something more specific. So the benefit here is the fact that you have the heat, again, improving blood flow, but you also have that vibration component, so that when you have a little bit of tension, that vibration, as you know, and if you use something like uh, a Viper or the hypersphere, where you have that vibration component, it's also included in here to offer a little bit of tension relief to whatever area that you put it on. So there's a little adhesive here. As you'll see, I can just pull that apart right there. And then I can put that. Hamstrings, one of my favorite go-to areas, because I do have, as you know, Wendy, that short head of the biceps femoris, that lower outer part of the hamstring. That's a hard to get spot for me. And I put on my calves. My calves need a lot of love. But a lot of times too, if I have, let's say, that area between the shoulder blade, those hard to get areas, this is the key. This is one of my best friends on those recovery days. Yeah.
Well, and keep in mind, when we talk about the importance of heat, we're really dilating the blood vessels. That's going to increase the blood flow. And then, of course, that's what triggers the muscles to relax. And so when Ken was talking about this Hyperize Venom Go, which is what he just showed you, and then mentioned the back, you guys see how small and compact what he showed you was. It really is something that you can throw in your backpack, your purse, or anything. You're running it from, do you run it from your phone, Ken? Or
no,
do you just
it just charges up, and then here, I mean, I have it in a case. This goes into my pack. So basically, I don't travel anywhere without this guy now, right? Because it's so compact. And as you know, Wendy, when we have a chance to travel internationally, or when we're doing video recordings and might be 2 or 3 nights somewhere, we try to get our workouts in still, right? So just because we're not at home doesn't mean we don't get our workouts in. It doesn't mean we pay any less attention. We just have to go through, means that are more travel friendly. And that's what this Venom Go definitely gives you the chance to do.
Well, and I want to kind of piggyback that, because you had mentioned the Venom back, and I have a lot of my clients, especially my clients that work sitting at a desk for long periods of time. Mm-hmm. They complain about low back stiffness or low back discomfort. And then, of course, I have a lot of my pro golfers wear this in the morning when they're doing their warm-ups and everything. But I use the Venom back just to show you guys the difference. And this is one of the reasons I wanted Ken to show you what that one looks like. This is the Venom back. And it's very big. And so it's like a back brace that Velcros on, and then you can choose 3 different ways of heat and then the different vibrations. Again, it goes all throughout the lower back. So it's very, very relaxing, and it covers a very broad area of your back. But if you're on the go, this isn't as easy to travel with, and it makes this noise. It's like, zoo, zoo, zoo. So if you're on a conference call, just FYI, it does make a little bit of a noise. But it's something that my clients love. But just to show you the comparison of size, I'm a big fan of the new one because of just the portability of it.
Oh yeah, and like I said, it's a go-to. It goes in my carry-on sometimes too. So. Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the next one. And I am going to start this off because, again, I just mentioned that I got the most unbelievable Christmas present, and this is what it is. And so obviously I've got the Volt Go here. So this is a very small little percussion device. And most of you guys are super familiar because we've done multiple sessions on the importance of it. And with this being as small as it is, it's very, very easy to travel with. However, what I wanted to talk about is this. This is the new Hyperize heated head. And it's one of these things that you actually charge individually. So you turn it on, and then once you turn it on, you can set it to whatever heat. It's 1, 2, and 3, just like you would on the Volt, how it's got 3 different kind of things to choose from. It's light heat into more intense, into more intense. So it starts at 109 for one. The second one is 115 degrees, and then it gets to 120. And when you put this heated head on with the vibration, it is unbelievable. And I'm not one of those that, I'm not a big believer until I try it. but I used this sucker for over an hour yesterday and loved every minute, especially because where I'm at right now, it's freezing. So the fact, and this, when it gets to 120, it's hot. If you're putting it directly on your skin, it can be pretty intense. But if you've got clients that come in and they're just feel really stiff, they just feel like they're achy, this heated head has done amazing things for my clients as well as myself. So again, don't get anything for it, but I am a big believer that this is kind of my daily go-to for all the reasons mentioned.
Yeah. So one of my clients actually compared it to you ever do hot stones? Like when you get body, when they line those hot stones on along your spine, it was compared to that. So that warm, again, you have the heat, you improve blood flow to that given area. And like I mentioned, the short head of my biceps femoris right there, that outer hamstring part, that's where I give a lot of love. So just like you took yours out, Wendy, this is mine. I've got the same. This is right next to my desk. So as you know, if I'm reading, if I'm watching video, I just have this thing just right on my hamstring, and I'm just going back and forth, and I'll just hold it there. So, and I love that third setting, because it does get up to 120 degrees, but it's not just a static 120 degrees that's sitting on it. It's percussing. It's just go ahead and getting that little percussion feeling. So I'm just going up and down, maybe just right above the crease of the knee to maybe a quarter way up the thigh. And I'm going about an inch per second as I'm going up and down, sweeping through that outer thigh into the hamstring. And that's exactly how I tell my clients to do it. So nice and slow and easy. Let the heat sink in. So it's not I'm going from my knee to my hip, my knee to my hip. No, you got to let that heat kind of, I would say, marinate a little bit in that small little area, that hamstring area. And I tell you what, we talk about recovery, but if you've been sitting in the car, you've had a long day behind the computer, it also helps with warming up, getting ready for the workout. So whether it's the Venom Go or the heated head attachment on whatever hypervolt you have, if you've been sitting down, sometimes it takes a minute. Right? Sometimes it takes a minute to warm up. So this definitely accelerates that process, not just from what benefits percussion offers, but now when you add the heat, man, that's a combo you just can't beat right there.
Oh, I didn't bring it to work with me one day, and I had a client that was like, "Hey, can you use that heated thing on me?" It was amazing, and I didn't bring it. I had it, of course, for myself, and I left it at home, and it was tragic. He was like, "Okay, I need you to order one because if you're not going to bring yours, I need my own." I'm like, all right, done. But again, I'm a huge fan. It individually charges, so it's a little bit different. It's, the other heads that come with the or with the different devices that you might purchase. This is sold separately. It's got its own charger. Yeah. Again, it lasts up to 75 minutes. And I used it, like I said, full heat for over an hour, and it was going strong still. So if you're just coming in from wherever and you're tuning in, joining us on Random Fit today with myself, Wendy Batts, and Ken Miller, we're talking about new year, new you, but we're talking about some of our favorite new recovery tools that are out on the market. Of course, we talked about the Hyperice Venom Go, which awesome. It's a little patch. Then we just talked about the Hyperice heated head. We're going to also switch gears now and talk a little bit about Therabody's. It's called the Recovery Therm Cube. And this is what it looks like. I don't know if you guys can see this, but the cool thing about this is you put a strap on it. So my strap is downstairs. This is what the back is, and this is what goes on directly to the skin. So if somebody, I work a lot with professional athletes that like to do the contrast therapy. So they like the heat and they need the heat. They like the cold and they need the cold. However, sometimes when what we've seen a lot of positive research on contrast therapy, this does all three. So you can do just heat, just cold, or both. And so, when you're thinking about just heat, again, we're talking about reducing soreness and stiffness. We're decreasing muscle spasms. So if somebody has calf muscle spasms, often this has actually done really good things for them, and it obviously increases the circulation. And then on the flip side, when you think about cold therapy, we're talking about, reducing inflammation and swelling. It's also going to help relieve joint, muscle, and soft tissue pain. And I know we don't deal with pain, but if there's discomfort, this is also a little device that you can strap on. You can strap it on your arm, you can strap it on your leg, your thighs, wherever it is. You can put it on your mid back as well if you have a long enough strap. Usually it's more in smaller areas. However, then when you combine it, so if you wanted to do the contrast here, it's going to combine, of course, the heat and the cold, and it goes for 20 minutes at that point. So if you're doing just the heat, it's about 24 minutes that it runs. If it's just cold, it's about 18 minutes. If you do the contrast, it's 20. And that's what I feel personally is it helps maximize like the joint and the muscle recovery, because you're getting the heat and the cold. And because it's going back and forth, it's really allowing your muscles to relax. And then it's also helping with inflammation. And then it's going back and forth. So you kind of get the therapies of both. So I'm a big fan of this. Again, this one is called the Therm Cube, Recovery Therm Cube by Therabody, who is also a partner with NASM. So it's one of those things that if you're into contrast, you can see how small it is, easy to throw in your bag, easy to travel with as well. And, it's something that you definitely want to try. It's easy to charge, just like the rest of the stuff that we're talking about. You just USB plug it in, charge it up, and
plug it in and go. But I think a lot of people, unless you are like an athlete somewhere where if you had a practice or you had a game and the task, and I'll call it a task, but the task of doing that contrast of heat, cold, like you'll put the ice pack on or you'll have a ice bath, and then you'll have a tub nearby with warmer or hot water, right? Or a hot pack, right? Just the task of going from one modality to the next, right? And a lot of times it's going to be water-based. So you need equipment, you need space. And what that does is it just takes you just set your settings. I want hot, cold, and then you set it for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you're done. And the beautiful thing is I've had clients that use the Hyperice comparable component to that, which is the Hyperice X. But all they have to do is just sit in the back seat of their car or on the bus when they're traveling with the team. They put that thing on, and the feedback is just great, because like my knee feels looser, as far as it doesn't feel stiff like after practice, after competition. And just by that alone, if you have better mobility, you have better blood flow, was basically if you're stiff, range of motion is restricted, then that's going to affect how your body recovers for the next session. But the sooner you can get it done, the sooner you can move better. And that's one of the key points. So when you have the ability to contrast heat, cold with that level of convenience,
and it's not messy. Yeah. I mean, working in a physical therapy place, you and I both have done that. When we would finish with our athletes, the first thing we would do is go grab a bag of ice. We'd go get the Saran Wrap and we'd wrap it, shoulders, knees, whatever it is that we needed to try to, add cold to. However, is this going to be as cold as ice? It is not. But it's one of those things, like, how convenient is that? It's like, okay, they leave me, they're getting ready to go to practice or do a pickup game or whatever. They can throw this on. It's not messy. They can drive with it. It's super compact. All it has to have is a charge, and it's going to help better. In my personal opinion, it's just, they're not wet. They're not miserable. When they take it off, they don't have this big red, like it looks like they're sunburned in the area that they just put cooled on. So just something to think about. Definitely look into if you're into contrast therapy. I'm a huge fan of the contrast, and have a lot of people do that does have the Hyperice X. Just had one of my tennis coach get that because he was having some issues with his knee, and he seems to be a big fan. But another product by Therabody is called the Theace. Now they do have a new mask out. I don't have the mask. To me, it's like this big white thing. It looks like the Jason mask. If any of you guys, I'm aging myself, but back in the day, it was like a really scary movie of, what is it? Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
And so it kind of looks like that kind of hockey mask. And there's a lot of positive benefits of what it does. But there's something also that they have. It's called the Theace. And I have it right here so I can show you. It comes with a little base, so it sets on. So this is what it looks like. And this Theace actually has a lot of different components to it. And if you turn it on, there's, again, 3 different settings. And depending on how intense you want it to be, that's going to be determining on you personally. And there's a ton of different videos to show you about it. But like if I turn it on, you're going to see that it turns red. The red part of this right here is supposed to help with wrinkles around the eyes. You can tell I have not been using it, if you can see, like with my wrinkles, but this is the purpose of the red. And again, there's percussion to it. So I can set the percussion to that if I want. So not only am I trying to get the muscles of my face to relax, but the actual red light therapy is supposed to help with that. Plus, we've talked about the importance of red light. I can change the color, and now you're going to see it turns blue. And this is going to help people that have issues with acne. So mild to moderate acne. The blue light with the percussion is supposed to help with that. There's also, you can see it turns pink. So it's a mix here where it's the red and the blue. So it kind of turns pink. It's going to do both. It's going to help with warming, warming the face, but also reducing pain. It's supposed to help with around the eyes, and you can hear a little beep. So what it does is it'll show you different places of your face that you're supposed to just nice and easy go back and forth. And then it'll make this beeping sound to tell you to go to a different portion of your face. And so therefore it kind of evens it out and kind of walks you along with that. Now, if I change this head completely, I'm going to turn it off. They also have something that you can place that looks like this. And it just literally, let me take this off. It just is like a magnetic thing. It just snaps right on. So this is a microcurrent. And so the microcurrent, again, you're going to use on your jaw, your face, all around the main muscles, but you're definitely going to want conductive gel. If you just use this without, it feels like you're throwing needles in your face. So you put the gel on, and then you can go through, and any of you guys that have ever done any kind of like micro needling or something like that, that's the type of current and what you're facing here. But it's supposed to help relieve, what does it do? It helps tone the muscles and stimulates to help with the firm and plump for youthful glow. Again, you can tell I don't use this as much as I should. However, this is available. And then of course it also comes with another one where it's a cleansing. So if I pop this off, you guys can see what this head looks like. It's just some bristles for you to use with cleansing. So this, again, because it also has the percussive in it, you choose the type of therapy that you need based on whatever you guys feel is going to work best. But it really is supposed to help firm up the face. It's all natural because it's your own muscles, but it's just like the rest of the body. We work on our calves, and we work on our quads and our glutes and our back, but this is supposed to help with the face as well.
Well, there you go. Just don't have your foot in a pool of water, I guess. If you've got
Well, I mean, you can eastly wash it off and stuff. You just don't want to actually, wash the device, but it's the same thing. You plug it in with USB, you charge it up, and, it comes with a little bag, so therefore you can keep all your little things in there. There's cones. There's a lot of different heads and devices, but you definitely want to make sure with the 3 speeds, the amplitude is, I think it's 3 millimeters of amplitude. So that's just how deep it goes. But it's one of those things too, where I was like, I got to try this. And I tried it. I think it's great. I just don't use it like I should. I'm always in a hurry. Wash my face, go to bed.
Yeah, there you go. That's your routine.
Oh my goodness. So Ken, you should maybe look into that. See if you find your youthful self.
I don't know if if you're telling me I need it, then
no.
I'll look in.
You look marvelous, my friend. So any of you guys that know my husband, he is a research guy, loves to find out what the latest and greatest is. He actually introduces me personally to a lot of different things that are out there. This is something that I did not know anything about. He just ordered it. It actually just came in, so I haven't even removed it from the box. But it's called the Kinian Move Plus Pro. And this is, I don't know if you guys can see what this looks like. But this is a combination of LED as well as the infrared light. It's like a laser light, if you will. And you can see kind of on the back, I don't know if you guys can see this, but basically it's a strap. And if people that are having some issues with, like, say, their shoulder or their knee, this can be used in various places and everything. And you just strap it on, and then the actual red light and the laser goes into these areas. And so because of the red light and the laser is penetrating into the areas that are really causing some pain and discomfort. And of course, it's supposed to help with inflammation. It's supposed to help with soreness. It's one of these two where it's their claims. Again, I'm reading this because I have not personally used it, but it's supposed to help increase blood flow, energy production in the mitochondria, collagen and cartilage production. So those of you guys that have clients that can, are complaining about bone on bone, this is supposed to help kind of relieve some of that tension and help in the healing process of a joint. So especially somebody that's coming out of surgery and you're trying to get that area to heal a little bit quicker, red light as well as the LED laser is supposed to help with that on speeding up the healing process. And they're saying you can use it on your elbow, hand, knee, hips, neck, back, ankles, and shoulders. So it's one of those things that I think I'm excited to try. Those of you guys that know me, I've had some neck issues in the past, and along with my corrective exercise and traction, I'm going to give it a whirl and see what it does.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up that last point, Wendy, because it's not that these things that we're talking about function in and of themselves. They do offer relief, like you're talking about with the other, with the infrared products. But if you have if you found a tool, like say with this Kineon, so good luck, and hopefully you're going to get the feeling that you want, the whatever pain relief or discomfort relief. But what I encourage my clients to do is with any of these products is to know that, okay, if you feel better, if it helps you feel and move better, take advantage of that. So if this Kineon infrared helps liberate some movement, like because you were restricted by pain or discomfort or some kind of restriction, and if you feel better, take advantage. Don't go crazy, right? Don't go crazy and think, okay, well, now I can go ahead and bench press or deadlift, right? Don't go nuts like that. But like you're saying, Wendy, with your corrective exercise or your mobility routine, take advantage of the fact that if you feel better, use that opportunity to enhance flexibility, mobility, do your foam rolling, do your mobility techniques, do your correctives. So if you had, like, say, low back issues or something with the shoulder, now's the time to do your cobras, your scaptions, those traditional localized activation exercises, and use that opportunity to turn on some muscles that otherwise you have trouble using because of movement restrictions. So if you're listening to us here on Random Fit, which you are, thank you for as we're talking about New Year, and we are talking about recovery products that have more recently entered the market when it comes to recovery, whether it's relaxing the muscle. You talked about contrast therapies with heat and cold, vibration, percussion, heat, all the above combined. So so you got to give me some feedback, Wendy, when you've had a chance, a couple sessions with that Kineon.
Well, and it's interesting because, we were looking at the science behind it and wanted to see, I like the portability of everything. So if it's something that's big and clunky, I don't use it because I can't travel with it. It's not convenient. If it's uncomfortable, I don't like it. And so if it's kind of sitting there in front of my face, but the one thing it was saying that it triggers the release of the nitric oxide, which increases the blood circulation, which I have poor circulation anyway. So if it's going to help, especially within my digits, I think that's something that's awesome, even though it may not be directly where I may have it, but it's supposed to help decrease the inflammation by firing up. And this is what I really like, the natural self-healing process. And so it's something that the body's already doing. It's just speeding up that process. And any of you guys that have worked with athletes that have had like knee surgeries or something, they will tell you to use the infrared light because it will help with the healing. And so with this and the laser combined, they're saying, now again, these are claims and I don't know this, but they're saying that, some people feel like after one treatment, it's a 15-minute treatment that you put on. So you've got to sit there, you can do things anyway, but it's about 15 minutes that you use it. But they're saying that these results, if you use it for 14 days in a row, that they start to have these lasting results because of that healing process is constantly sped up to what the body's already doing. And so, so I am excited to try it, but we'll see.
All right. So as soon as we finish this recording, I
got to take it out of the box first.
Take it out, charge it up. First things first. So for the last thing that we'll talk about today, and we talked about heat, percussion, vibration, infrared, and now we're going to talk about compression. So as you all know, if you listen to us talk about recovery and the importance of improving blood flow. One of the tools that I've used, right, to help enhance that is this Normatec Go. So if you're using the Normatec, which is basically a full-on leg boot, and what it does is it sequentially compresses from heel to thigh, and therefore improving blood flow back up to the core. And then, of course, as it goes through its sequence, it pushes the blood up and then releases the compression and allows the blood to come back down into the extremity, improving oxygen along with the blood flow, nutrient recirculation into the extremities. We tend to talk about the legs because if you're working with runners, I mean, you can't do anything without your leg, but there is a hip and an arms attachment as well. So you depending on what you do, if you're a thrower, you had a pretty heavy upper body lifting day, then you're more subject to use the arms. But the Normatec Go, again, Wendy, you talked about the convenience of portability. This goes into my carry-on. So whenever I'm on a plane, especially, Wendy, when we're on those flights that are 10 plus hours long, right? If you're on a plane, like, so when we headed to Dubai the other year, that's a long, I think, was that a 12-hour flight, 11-hour flight? Something long. I was able to get 3 compression sessions using the Normatec Go. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, this right here, again, it's not a full leg boot. This just straps around your lower leg, so around the calf. So we've done that episode.
The second heart.
The second heart. That's right. So if I can get my second heart working for nothing, right? And improve circulation that way, why not? So if I'm sitting on a plane, I mean, I don't know how your body responds to being on a flight, Wendy, for a long period of time.
Yeah, you do. You travel with me. That's why I need you in my life, Ken. You always have all the devices. So.
Yeah. That's right. That's like, all right, charge it. Go ahead and use it tonight. I get it tomorrow night.
Me?
Yeah, that's right. We exchange more recovery tools. It's like, all right, here, you get the Volt tonight. I'll get the Normatec Go.
But you know what? I think with the calves, I think it's important to say too. I mean, you spot on said it right there. When you're on a plane or you're on, like, you have to pack a lot of things and you don't have a lot of room. Those legs, like the Normatec boots, I love. And of course, Therabody has their own, like all the different companies have different type of compression. Normatec, I love. I have a bunch of clients that love it, but you can't take the Normatec boots on a plane because you really need it, like, to extend both legs out. No. And as soon as you get it going and they start to pile up, I think that they look like a hockey player, the goalie, because they're kind of big and clunky. Yeah. So it's not like you have all this room. And as soon as you put those on a plane, even if they're the portable ones, where you don't have to plug everything in, the cart's going to have to go by and they can't get through because your Normatec legs are in the way. So, it's one of those things where I think what you just said and showed, Ken, they're phenomenal because of, with the compression, again, think about your lymphatic system. That's the whole thing too. You want to cleanse out your lymphatic system. That's why people get deep tissue massages and different types of lymphatic massages for that reason. So one of those things that I think is super convenient and big advocate for, and we actually gave those as gifts to our junior golf, some of the top number 1 in the world. And they were like, this might've been the best gift I've ever gotten.
Yeah. And it's undeniable just from the standpoint that, they could use it when they're so if you're talking about junior golfers, they're still students, they're still in school. They can put it on when they're going to and from the golf course. They can put it on when they're studying, right? If you're sitting behind the computer, and I don't know how many times, I've put this on and I just sit there and I set it for 20 minutes. And next thing you know, it's like, I've gotten some good work in and this thing turns off. I'm like, oh man, 20 minutes has gone by already. So, and you take them off and you get up and it doesn't feel like you've been sitting down for that long. And that's what I really love about it, is just the fact that you put it on. It's a passive recovery tool. So, not like some of the other products, you kind of have to manually put in and apply it to yourself, right? Like the Volt Go. But here you just sit there and you can do whatever you're doing, right? You're not walking around with it, but I can get some work done, and I don't feel like I've been sitting down. So that's what I really love about it. Get your workout in. You know, if I have time to cool down, great. But if not, I can put those on, get right to work, and then, you know, next thing you know, you're feeling pretty good.
Well, and I think it's important, we've talked about a lot of different things. And so if you want to rewind and listen again, I totally would get that. But I think you just have to find the right tools that are going to work best for you. And if you are, a trainer, or you're working with some clients, or people are asking you for recommendations, I strongly suggest, just make the investment in yourself. As you can see, Ken and I both do. And we do that just so we can be able to talk about, okay, this is what I felt. This is how I felt it was best used. These are some of the things that I found to, sometimes get confusing. So maybe you can help them, especially if it's different straps or the way you're supposed to use a particular product. You're more familiar with it. And plus, if you're part of NASM, we are partnered with some of these companies that we discussed today. But, find what's good for you, and then help your clients. And then two, think about think about next year, the end of the year, starting your clients off on the right foot. Maybe some of these could be gift options, or, for you tell a husband to get their wife this because, it's been super beneficial, or that she seemed excited, or me as a trainer, I might end up purchasing some of the heated heads for my clients that I know have some of the percussion devices. Right. So just try them out, see what you think, and go with it.
That's number one. Before you make recommendations, like you said, Wendy, we have these things on our own, and that's just so that we can actually give viable feedback because we've experienced it for ourselves. So try it for yourselves, and that's the only way. I mean, there is an investment involved, so try it, use it, see if it makes a difference in your life or what you're looking for, but do your research. So great episode, Wendy, and I'm hoping that we get some good feedback on what these things have done for people. So Wendy, as always, great episode. For those of you listening to us here on Random Fit, thank you so much for your time, energy, and effort in hopefully learning some good quality information from us. So like, follow, subscribe, comment, download, rate us if you can, but let us know what you want to talk about, and we'll do that for the next episode of Random Fits. So until next time, everybody, take care and be well.